Hi everybody, Jennifer Blevins-Smith with Integral Clinic Solutions, and you're watching my YouTube channel, Navigating the Business of Medicine. Today I want to talk about preparing for deductible season. Before we jump into that, a few things. One, please check out my website, www.integralclinicsolutions.com. I have a blog page and a resources page you might find helpful. And also, if you're interested in finding out as soon as I launch my new healthcare credentialing and contracting course, please go to the link in the description of the video, add your email address to the blast announcement, and you will be one of the first to find out. All right, deductible season. We're here again. I cannot believe it. These years fly by. I remember when I was young and people used to tell me that the older you get, the faster time goes. And I didn't think that they were telling the truth, but they definitely were, because I feel like I just recorded this video. And I didn't. It was about a year ago that I did, but I like to do it every year because deductible season does sneak up on us, and it can be very stressful in a practice, especially a new practice with experiencing deductible season for the first time. I don't have all the answers, and I'm not going to pretend that I do, but I definitely want to just bring up some points for you to start thinking about, to consider, to be aware of, so that it doesn't come as such a shock or it's not as stressful as it could be. Okay? So deductible season, about probably 85% of people have insurances that start over on January 1st. And that means that they have to hit their deductible before the insurance starts paying for any of their services. What that means to doctors' offices and other healthcare entities is your income, your finances are relying on the patients to pay their bills. And that's why a few weeks ago I did a video that said, hey, make sure you complete all of your chart notes and get them all sent to the insurance companies before the end of the year so that you can get those payments coming in to help you through the beginning of deductible season. Do not leave money on the table. It is so important that your providers are finishing their notes, they're thoroughly and completely finishing, they're locking or signing or however it needs to be done so that a claim can get created and out the door before December 31st. Now, insurance companies are already delayed this time of year because it's end of the year. They have staff who are on PTO, you have the holidays schedule where they're not working. The last week of the year, honestly, most insurance companies, drug companies, they don't really even work that much, if at all. So you can kind of just take that last week of the year between Christmas and New Year's off as any kind of anticipated anything getting done, honestly. So you really are cutting yourself short, and you want to get all that out the door. So even though they might not pay it and process it in this year, at least it will be coming in early of the next year to get those payments from the insurance to help cover that deductible season. Medicaids, Medicares, their funds are running really low. It's end of the year, you know, they have to budget, they're only given so much money, and so things kind of get stretched and delayed there as well. So you being on top of it, getting things out the door as soon as possible, number one thing you can do, okay? Deductible season. That's going to be at least the first 3 months of the following year, if not the first 5 months of the year, okay? So it could be a quarter to a quarter and a half, depending on your specialty, your patient volume, a lot of things go into that. And you need to make sure that you're freezing any hiring of staff, providers, etc., unless you absolutely have to. You also want to make sure you're not making any big purchases. You're not having to put out big chunks of money unless it's stuff that you've already budgeted for in this year and you're carrying that money over to pay for whatever. Just don't make any unplanned large purchases because you're going to be really tight on funds unless, there's always an unless or an however, if you have already, which hopefully you have, budgeted anticipating for deductible season of next year, and you have a nice fluff, I call it, in your bank account to help you through. things happen, costs of things go up, things break that you're not anticipating, and sometimes you have to spend the reserves on that you don't want to, or you don't have the money but you have to put it on credit or something like that. So as much as you can, especially now looking forward to next year, like 2 years from now, try to budget all year anticipating the following year's deductible. And hopefully you've already done that, but like I said, I know things happen and there's things that we don't have control over. So just try the things that you do have control over, make very wise financial decisions. Also, if there is a supply, a drug, something that costs more than normal or that you use a lot of, that is going to be locked in at a certain price until the end of the year, and then your drug rep, your supply manager, whoever it is at the vendor tells you that the prices are going to go up in 2024, ask them, is it right away, like after the first of the year? Is it after the first quarter? Because if it's going to increase significantly once that calendar year changes, you might want to consider buying a large volume to carry you at the cheaper price through a lot of the deductible season, so you don't have to pay out of pocket at the higher charge for a larger volume. I hope that makes sense. So if you go through a lot of Xolair, or you go through a lot of allergen extract or something like that, an antigen maybe, and you know that you're going to be using a lot of it and it's going up significantly in 2024, if you can afford to pay for a bulk amount that will not expire and that you'll be able to get through before your next purchase, I would do it, because you're going to save money that way, okay? Because you're buying it at the lower price, you know you're going to use it, it won't go to waste, and it just makes sense. Something to consider. Also, patients are responsible for paying their bills for deductible season, right? Because you get the ERAs, the EOBs in, it says that it's patient deductible or their copay or both. You need to do a review with your front desk, making sure that they understand that they're collecting copays at every visit without any kind of exception unless you approve it. Whether you're the owner, the manager, someone should be approving it. You also need to review the collection policy and making sure that they're asking for patients to pay on their balances on their account when they're checking them in, when they're on the phone call asking for a call back from a medical assistant or needing a prescription called in. You can't withhold services because they have a balance. You can't say, I'm not going to send in your prescription because you owe us money. You can't do that. But when the patients are calling about something else, it's a perfect opportunity to let them know that you are aware that they owe you money and ask, how would you like to pay this? Can we set you up on a payment plan? If you guys don't have a payment plan, maybe it's time to consider maybe putting one into place if you're having trouble with patients paying their bills or you offer services that are of a larger amount of money. Making sure that the front desk, whoever's on the phone, knows how to check patient accounts, where to find the balances, how to collect the payments. Having those tough financial conversations, not everybody is comfortable with that. So maybe you need to do some trainings or in-services with the ones that aren't comfortable so that they can be comfortable, because that should be a responsibility and an expectation for your front desk to be collecting those money. Because when people are in person, it's a lot harder for them to say no than over the phone, okay? Or when they receive a statement, they just look at it and set it down, okay? So these are some things that you really need to think about. Make sure your collections process is tight. Make sure patients are receiving their statements as often as they need to be, that there's no delay in sending statements, that there are multiple ways for patients to be able to pay their bills, whether it's electronically, over the phone, sending things in paper, is it text message? Do you have that opportunity? In this day and age, people love to pay online. Do you have that ability or that offering to patients to make it simple for them to pay their bills? Okay. making sure that you are covering every which way, looking around every corner, that you're making it as easy for patients to pay, you're trying to capture every opportunity to collect that money from patients, and that you have a very tight workflow and everybody knows their role and responsibility when it comes to patient payments, collections, etc. Now, I have done a video recently, and you'll want to check that out, about collecting money up front from patients before services are rendered. I'm not a huge fan of that. Check out the video, it will explain why. But definitely having your staff comfortable asking to pay on those balances for patients when they check in, making sure those statements are going out regularly, that you have many opportunities and options for patients to pay their bills, and having a tight collections process workflow is really going to benefit you. And this is a perfect time to evaluate it, fill in any holes, maybe revamp it if you need to, establish extra steps. Maybe you were really new, you didn't need to worry about collections, and now you do. So this is a perfect opportunity to evaluate and get ready for deductible season, because patients are going to need to pay the bills so you can pay the bills. So how are you going to make this work for you and for the business? All right, I know I'm probably missing something, but those are some of the big things I wanted to hit on. And just take this time at the end of the year to really be evaluating your fee schedules, your contracts, your budgets, your reimbursements, running financial reports, looking at the whole year in the rears and see where everything's at, to see what changes you need to make moving forward to hopefully have an even more successful next year. If you have any questions or comments, please leave that in the comments below. Smash the thumbs up button if today's video was helpful. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and please share this video with your colleagues. I appreciate it so much. Have a wonderful end of the year. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.